our music, there's a lot of energy to it, and in the smaller place, the energy translates better. But I suppose if you come down here just to play 2 shows, you know.
I have a good time playing. It doesn't matter. I mean, I have a preference, but I don't have like a strong enough opinion to say that I hate arenas or that I hate clubs. I mean, they all have their own merits, you know. We're going to do these 2 shows. It's going to be pretty much just standard set. Then we're going to record our record, then we're going to go on tour this year, and we're going to have a whole new set, all new songs.
So we won't ever have to play Smells Like Teen Spirit again. It's fun to play. It's just weird because it seems, for a lot of people, it's just, you know, it's the only Nirvana song, and that's upsetting.
It's just not going to be as like glossy and candy-ish as Nevermind. It'll be kind of more like Bleach, just kind of rocking. A lot more, it's not really going to be left field, you know, not totally crazy. It came pretty naturally. The time was right to do it. Nevermind was released in September of 1991. People were hungry for material.
A lot of people think that the band's only record is Nevermind, and most people aren't even aware that Bleach is out. Now that Bleach is getting better distribution, more people know about it, but Incesticide will sort of bridge the gap in between Nevermind and the new record that'll come out.
Yes and no.
It's kind of like Neil Young's got Harvest, and then he's got Harvest Moon. Well, instead of taking 20 years, we're just going to take 3 to go back.
It's a taser. It electrocutes like, people. Yeah.
Oh, let's try. Let's try.
I think we're going in more of an experimental new wave type of direction. It's kind of hard to explain. Actually, have you heard the Incesticide record? That's the kind of band we used to be. We used to be more like Gang of Four, new wave influence, like more experimental with more noise and different effects boxes and stuff. And then we started getting too much into straight-ahead garage grunge music, and that's pretty much what Bleach was like. And then Nevermind was more pop, a little bit more commercial. And now we're kind of reverting back to the first thing, which would sound more like Incesticide, just weirder stuff.
Was that intentional, this kind of evolution? I mean, you going towards commercial songs? And
we just happened to be really into the idea at the time. It seemed like a really challenging idea at the time because we were playing punk rock underground clubs, and we thought it would be really funny to test that out on those kind of people to see if they would be able to swallow more of a clean pop, you know, sound, and see if we can get away with it, because we love that kind of music. We like a lot of commercial music that's good, you know, most of it's old, most of the old commercial stuff we like, but it was just something to do. We're pretty much bored with that phase now because you're really limited, especially when you're a 3-piece, you know, because there's not much you can do with, you know, 3-chord guitar rock.
Not really. Well, the whole new wave concept, I mean, when it began, it was very pop. I mean, can
oh, yeah.
Like, if you can name any bands, you mentioned...
Well, like the B-52s, Devo, you know, anything. I think that's one of the most grossest periods of music in history is right around the mid-'80s when this crossover metal and punk rock thing started happening, where it wasn't cool to write songs that had melody anymore. It had to be total noise and aggression all the time, and I just got really sick of that.
How do you
I think it's happening already. I mean, obviously, the most popular alternative bands on a national commercial scale are more, you know, commercial. They're more clean and, you know, like Pearl Jam and stuff like that. And that's the same thing that happened with punk rock. You know, punk rock was really aggressive and raunchy, and those bands got signed to major labels, and it didn't do too well in the mass media. And so then all these punk rock bands turned into new wave bands, you know? So that's exactly what we are. We're a fucking new wave band. People like that tend to think that they can buy anything, you know. I personally don't think that she's really sincerely into that kind of music. I wouldn't know because I don't know her as a person, so maybe she is, but to me it seemed kind of superficial. It seems like a cash-in kind of thing.
We just signed a group called Candlebox from Seattle. That's our newest.
For the grunge scene thing?
Yeah, kind of. Kind of in the Alice in Chains sort of Pearl Jam.
And an attempt to be kind of hip and get a little bit more credibility. But in a way, I respect Madonna for the things that she has introduced, because she's introduced some subversive things, and it has nothing to do with sex as far as I'm concerned. I'm talking about like the introduction to the Vogue dance, which originated in the gay clubs in the mid-'80s and early 80s. And stuff like that, and she's always been supportive of things like that, which is, I think, is really cool. She's just from a different world, you know, so I don't expect her to understand punk rock, because, I mean, obviously she knew about punk rock. She had to. If she, you know, she was hanging out in New York at that time, and she chose to ignore it, so that was her choice.
How superficial are consumers and all that? The mess.
I don't know. It's hard to say right now because it seems like people, well, generally people are looking for things that are a bit more sincere and real now. I try to be optimistic enough to hope that people are looking towards things like that. I like to see the people who liked our band, who liked Nevermind because it was easy to listen to. I would love to see them get into or appreciate the noisier side of our music, and then hopefully maybe they will look back into some of the old punk rock bands like Black Flag and Flipper and stuff like that, and hopefully and there will be other bands, current bands, who will be on major labels, and they'll listen to that stuff too, you know.
Right.
It's not necessarily like a big crusade we're on, you know, like, you know, I mean, fuck, we're just a band. I think of us as just strictly one of those kind of bands who used to be punk rock and then went to a commercial option just for you know, financial reasons or to be played on the radio. It was something that we sincerely wanted to do. We really liked the stuff that we were trying to do at the time.
And as you said, you were trying to tease your audience, your punk club audience, too.
Yeah, in a small way. Yeah, it was more of a test. Right. It was more of a test for us, actually, to see if we had enough guts to get away with the acceptance by the people who we respect, because the people who we respect the most are the people in the underground punk rock audiences, you know. I see the current British rock scene is very, I think they're more interested in an interesting character, more interesting characters in the band, like people who give better interviews than they do music, you know, and it's very fashion conscious and very trendy, and I don't really dig it at all myself. There's not very many English bands I can think of that I like. In fact, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there are a few. I think we played a couple of new songs, and then we did some new wave songs, you know, when we started jamming and stuff, but for the most part, we don't want to over-practice the new songs. Actually, it's a good idea to play new songs, you know, to see what the vibe is like live, but I guess I don't have an explanation why we didn't play more new songs, really. Normally we do, but a while ago we got so tired of people bootlegging stuff. And we want the new album to be more or less a surprise. We don't want anyone to know what the new songs sound like. It's flattering to know that we are affecting that many people, but I'm certain that a very good majority of the people had no idea what the fuck we were doing, you know. They had no idea that we were doing new wave covers and trying to have fun and trading off instruments and just trying to have a party atmosphere, because most of them only attend those kind of arena large rock shows and they expect a very clean, professional performance from a band, so, you know, but as far as I'm concerned, I would rather play in a smaller club because it's just more intimate and fun. I really like it. I can hear the band. I'm closer to my bandmates, and we can look at each other. I don't have to say, "Hey, Chris," 100 feet away over there, you know. And most of the time, yeah, that's one of the only ways that we can really deal with the idea, the reality of playing in front of that many people, because we never ever intended to do that, you know. And I've never hardly ever enjoyed watching an arena rock show. I think I've only seen a few of them. I really liked Aerosmith when I saw them about 10 years ago, and that was a really big show. But that's just because I like the band so much, and I was real familiar with the songs and everything. But I would have rather seen them in a club, you know, or a theater of a few thousand people, for sure. I've never heard a band that sounds like us. I can't say that I've heard a band who sounds like they rip us off or have been influenced by us. And if they have been influenced by us, I hope they've just been influenced by the sincerity we try to put off.
Mas a humildade de Kurt não reconhece ninguém influenciado pelo Nirvana. Ele falou sem problemas de uma banda que o influenciou muito, o Young Marble Giants.
I'm heavily influenced by them. It doesn't sound like it in our music, but the emotions they evoked and the feeling, the sincerity and all that is just, and the songwriting I think is fantastic, and it's so original too. You know, no drums, you know, except for the little tick 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 Casio thing. Great, and I just love that stuff. I read fanzines all the time, and those are the only things that I ever really read. Normally, I don't really even care what my favorite bands have to say, you know, because I know they probably, you know, I agree with pretty much the same philosophies and ideas that they do anyhow, if we're into the same kind of music, or basically the same kind of music, so.
And now you said, no, In Bloom, the In Bloom video is like a beginning of an answer to all that, even to MTV or to the whole video universe.
I'm not really sure, because I'm not really opposed to videos. I don't hate them. Sometimes they're fun to do. Especially that video was fun to do because it only took us 6 hours. Normally a video will take a whole day, just like over and over and over. We only had to listen to the song like 4 times. And it was great. It was really great to be able to do that. And it was totally spontaneous. Courtney had brought some dresses with her. She was taking them to a friend's house, or she had borrowed some dresses from a friend of hers, and so I thought, hey, let's put some dresses on and, you know, dance around in those. And that was just, you know, everything was just pretty much spontaneous. The basic idea was just to, you know, do a video that looked like it came from the early '60s or the late '50s.
Well, what about the other version that you were more with suits and all like that? It was done in the same day.
Yeah.
You just changed your clothes.
Yeah, we just changed our clothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and you mentioned that Courtney came with those dresses, and she's recording right here. I mean, do you, by any chance, interfere with what she's doing in her work, or how much does one interferes with other works?
Yeah, we get in each other's way every once in a while.
Yeah, but I mean more intentional.
We just like to be together all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, we're best friends. She's my best friend, and so when she's playing music, I like to listen to it and maybe suggest some things, and she does the same thing with me too. And this was just an opportunity for her to. She came with us, and Patty, her drummer, came too. It's just a vacation, and so this was just a spontaneous thing for them to just make a few demos and see what they're going to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, it's rolling. Arnaldo Baptista, is that how you pronounce his name?
That's it. Mm-hmm. Where? I see. Where did you hear from them? I mean, who told you try to look for this band?
My friend Bill Bartell, who is he has a record label called Gasatanka Records, and he was in White Flag, and he's friends with Red Cross. He's a very nice guy. He has a mustache, and he's a really nice guy. And he sent me a tape of the first 2 records a few weeks ago, about a month ago, and I really liked it. And he said, if you go to Brazil, you have to say to everybody that this is a great band, and I agree with him. I think this is a very influential and cool band for the time.
How did it sound to you? I mean, does it have like a Brazilian kind of sound on the background?
Yeah, there's a lot of Latin rhythms in there in some of this music. Yeah.
Because they came with this idea that let's mix Brazilian rhythm and rock, and this was in the late '60s.
Right.
Can you say something like typical from Brazil there?
Yeah, oh definitely. There's some, I can hear the rhythm and the influence in the music a lot. I respect them so much. I'm not familiar with them very much because I've just started getting into them, but I think from what I've read about them, they were very revolutionary. I mean, they made their own effects boxes, you know? They made their own fuzz boxes, and they were also really controversial, too, which was, they had a lot of guts to be doing stuff like that in the military society that was going on then, and I just think that is so cool.
That was totally counterculture.
Yeah,
totally,
very.
People wouldn't believe what they did.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very cool like that. And I hope you enjoy the CDs too.
Yeah, I will.
And thank you again.
All right. Bye.